Hi, everyone. Welcome to What Just Happened. I'm Christine Russo, and today we welcome Dax Dasilva, CEO of Lightspeed. Dax, it's really great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Welcome, Dax. It's great to see you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Fun fact, I was a Lightspeed partner.
Oh, great.
Yes, I was. And I went to the annual meeting in Montreal. Yeah, at, I want to say 2019 or 2018.
Okay, great.
Yeah, good stuff. Lots happened since then. So we'll get right into it. One thing I want to start with is just the concept of point of sale or POS. I'm drilling down in that pretty heavily this year because there's a lot of emphasis on store experience and customer experience. And then it all can fall apart if the checkout experience is terrible.
Yeah.
And so the marketplace for point of sale has changed tremendously. It used to be the till where you took the money.
It's really expanded in terms of, if we think about what Lightspeed does and what it encompasses for Lightspeed customers in the case of retail, is it's really a comprehensive system that manages all the back office, so all the inventory management, and also we connect with wholesale and suppliers. So we also manage the inflow of inventory into the store. And manage those relationships. And of course, the whole experience inside the store in terms of being able to serve customers on mobile devices and browse with them and then check them out, whether it's at a till or it's on mobile and in the moment. And then, of course, it also extends beyond the physical channel of your store or multiple stores. It also extends to online. And not only just e-commerce sites, but also social channels. Which drive a lot of in-store traffic nowadays.
Yeah. About a year ago, I was like, point of sale is no good anymore. So let's make it point of service. It really is a place that empowers the associate to service the customer and with less emphasis on the transactional piece. But people have caught on, so we got to keep moving. So I have a couple of other options to throw at you, see what you think. Here we go. So point of service, that works. Here are three others. Point of synergy. Point of synthesis.
I like that a lot.
I know, but I have two more. Wait, I love that one. But I have two more. All good. So we got to figure out which one we like. We've got point of synergy, point of solution, point of synthesis. What do we like?
I really like synergy and synthesis, but solution I think is a good word that captures what people are really looking for. I think they are looking for a little bit of a synergistic solution, right? There's so many different aspects and additional hats one must wear when running a retail operation. It's way more complex than when we started in 2005. There's so many more channels you have to be great at, and you want them all and you want the inventory to be at the right place at the right moment for the right customer, right location. There's a lot of things that need to go right. And you need to have analytics across all of these things in order for you to be profitable. And so you need synergy between your different sales channels, and you need a solution that's going to maybe bring all of this together for you. Not maybe, it has to bring all of this together for you in order for you to be successful. And you need to be able to track what is working for you so that you can pivot in terms of your mix or your staffing or how you're investing across your different channels. Like, for example, you may be way more comfortable with your in-store experience, but you may not know how ads are really paying off for you on social or on e-commerce to drive traffic to your store or drive online sales. So there's a lot of things that need to come together. So people are looking for an all-in-one or overall comprehensive solution, and something that's going to really tap into the synergies that exist right now between in-store and online and social. And there's so much opportunity that if you can get good at this and you can track your progress with analytics and insights, then you can really differentiate yourself from competition.
I love how you as a company have decided there are sectors that need attention and you go after them. You set the bar for a new type of what was POS at the time. Now, fast forward, there are a lot of players. Everything you're saying is talked about across the board. So it's highly competitive and you're no longer the little brother. You're the elder and you've got to keep up and be better. What do you think about every morning when you get up thinking, okay, how am I going to make this company stand out, what we offer stand out, and what's different about us?
Lightspeed, like from the very beginning, from like our very first customers that I built the original system for on the Mac, on the retail side, they've always been the more complex businesses, right? It's not the micro merchant or the smaller merchant, because there's 65 million merchants in SM. They drive $10 trillion of volume across all 65. We're really building solutions for that 2.5 million that drive the half of that 5 trillion. So it's the more complex. It's not the enterprise players, because if you go to NRF, there's a lot of people that are custom building solutions for those bigger chains, and they have multi-million-dollar budgets to custom build something that's gonna be really fit to their business. But that's a totally different strata from where we're serving. We're serving that medium to high complexity retailer that has a lot of inventory to manage, and probably in multiple locations, right? So it's not the smaller merchant where there's a lot of cloud-based players that are a great fit for that, and it's a mass market. We're the light ERP, because we're not quite the enterprise ERP solution. We're serving that customer that's got tens or hundreds of thousands of SKUs, that's got a real operational issue if they don't have a handle on it. And so if I think about who Lightspeed's very first customers were, they were like my background's from the Mac dealerships, right? So before Apple had stores, they had dealerships, and it was very complex businesses, right? Lots of serialized products, tens or hundreds of thousands of SKUs, more like hundreds of thousands of SKUs in their databases, from parts. They repair shops, lots of parts, lots of different SKUs, like every Apple product and accessory, basically. And if you think about the verticals that we serve today, like bike, like jewelry, like they have a lot of the same characteristics, and they have the same kinds of needs of, how do I manage all of this, reorder properly, have these things at the right place at the right time for the right customer. So it's the high complexity merchants, and a lot of them most of them have scale, right? So we're serving that tier of company that's doing 500,000 of transactions on a lot of inventory and above, right? Where we probably stop is where you're getting into enterprise, where they're doing hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's like a different tier solution. But I think we're also overkill for the smaller merchants that don't have the complexity that Lightspeed really is solving. Point of solution, solving that challenge for them synergistically.
It's such an interesting cohort, an underserved cohort, because who in their right mind would go into a business that has all of this inventory and complexity and really be at a certain scale level that is here, because there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But with a tool like Lightspeed, it's manageable. But the component that I remember that you offer, and it applies to bike, golf, and jewelry, is service.
Yeah.
You bring appointment management and all kinds of service
That's right.
into your system. Has that evolved in the past couple of years? Where do you stand with that?
Yeah, definitely. And there's other verticals like clothing and apparel, and outdoor sports, and home and garden. And there's all these different verticals that have different areas of complexity. And some of them do have a scheduling need, or a particular need in regards to being able to, for example, multi-brand clothing and apparel. A lot of them will buy, just like the big department stores, which also use our new order system, which is our B2B platform for ordering from brands. They'll order from multiple brands, and they need to create a collection for their season, right? And so we solve that unique problem for clothing and apparel, and a couple of other verticals. So we really think about the retail world in serving certain verticals with the right feature sets. And I think what they're migrating from is legacy systems that have been built for those verticals sometimes over 30 years. But the legacy systems don't allow them to be synergistic. They don't allow them to get into the online channels. They don't do multi-store very well. They don't allow them to connect into cloud-based services. Like, for example, if they need to connect to a back-end ERP because they're at scale, they need to connect to NetSuite, right? Or they need to connect to another online accounting system or a payroll system, or we allow that to connect because we're all in the cloud, right? So to go from a legacy system to something modern like Lightspeed, you preserve all of your inventory management and operations management, and of course an amazing guest experience, an amazing shopper experience, consumer experience, because we've got all the channels and the checkout, really modern experiences and impressive experiences for customers. But they can graduate into this new world of having everything modern and in the cloud, and then they can also get analytics and AI driven insights across everything. So they really know how to optimize everything going forward. So it's a quantum leap for these businesses. Yeah, obviously they've had some success because they're at scale. They're doing 500,000 and more in transaction volume. And of course, we're also helping with the payments, the financial services, right? We have Lightspeed Payments and Lightspeed Capital. And the capital piece of this is that there's nobody that knows better than Lightspeed the ins and outs and the flows and the transaction and what they're spending money on in terms of inventory. And so we're a very ideal lender that can say, with our analytics package, we can say, you know what, if you did one more inventory turn of these things that are out of stock, you can be that much more profitable and we can loan you the money. So this is the kind of solution that we're offering that's modern and it's got lots of different ways for people to grow.
Actually, I want to talk about that because I am in the wholesale space, multi-brand wholesale space. Have you opened up the POS? It was closed in 2018. Is it open now?
It's very open. There's an open API. Our flagship platform that is what we go to market with today is based on the Vend POS platform, and then we've engineered a lot of the key technologies from some of the other platforms that we'd acquired. And so the Vend platform, which is now Lightspeed X Series, our core flagship retail product, is designed to be very open.
Let's jump into the new order piece. Apparel wholesale is under debate, constantly. Like, where does wholesale sit in the scheme of brands, and is it an important piece? Just did a feature podcast on the importance of newness, and it's for two cohorts that usually don't get a lot of the attention. It's SMEs, and also department stores.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a few strong scaled multi-brand stores. So the landscape is a little unusual to what usually gets all the press and media. So if you agree with that, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you agree with that, then we can jump to the importance of this technology for these cohorts. Buying across brands and managing your budget and buying into newness and buying into what's moving and getting more of what's turning, can be a challenge.
Some of our larger enterprise customers are the major department stores. And so because the major department stores are on New Order by Lightspeed, we have a lot of the big brands on New Order. And so what we're enabling is for all those independent retailers to also get access to those brands, because the brands would like to be able to contract with stores where they are a good fit. And so to have New Order of make that inventory and those catalogs readily available to not just the department stores, because that's a certain part of their market, but also all those independent multi-brand clothing and apparel stores. That's a way for them to expand their market, and we can facilitate that. And then we can also help some of those brands with data, because when they sell wholesale, sometimes they don't really know what happens later at the store level, what things have succeeded, what things have been discounted. And so there's an incentive also for brands to recover data from us in aggregate that helps them better plan production. And so we are democratizing some of this investment that's been made to connect brands with department stores, and we're democratizing it to our SMB and medium to high complexity inventory centric SMBs, right? And so that, I think, is an important development that we're really excited about. And then folks that are really leveraging this are saving a ton of time, because as being from this world, you would manage potentially one piece of this in your point of sale, and your ordering system is separate, and there's potentially a lot of double entry. And to have this all integrated and not have double entry, and also have analytics and insights running across all of it, so that it can help you decide what to reorder and when to reorder, and what are your best sellers and what things are liable to stock out. That's a huge help. Plus that, of course, that brand connection, to connect directly to them and see actually visibility, which is something that we've just launched this last quarter, is actually see what's actually in stock at the brands, and not just get a dumb catalog of just a list of things, but what is actually available. Helps you show up better for your customer, because customers that come into your store with an expectation that something's going to be there, once maybe that you can maybe get away with it, but if somebody keeps coming back to your store and it's never there, they'll start to lose loyalty with your store and maybe shop online, right? So you want to always keep that the right inventory there for you. And then, of course, this whole story is supported by the capital business, which allows us to loan to the stores so that they can acquire extra turns of inventory when it makes sense for them to order from those brands.
You can use New Order without the Lightspeed POS still, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So it's not a requirement, but it's definitely a huge enhancement if you have the two together. And of course, e-com as well. It's like an ecosystem going on there. That's
The ecosystem. Definitely, if you're an independent retailer, you're going to save. There's cases, and it's a stat that we share. You can save up to 8 hours a week of manual entry and double entry by leveraging the integration. It really changes the workflow so significantly. The people that are leveraging the integration are thinking, I cannot go back to the way I was working before. It's just a non-negotiable.
Let's dive into golf. You have identified it and you're succeeding as a strong vertical for you. It's a complicated vertical, so it's perfect for you. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, we acquired a solution a couple of years ago that was a Lightspeed partner that had integrated our retail platform and our hospitality platform, because golf courses have both elements, right? They have a pro shop and they also have potentially multiple restaurants on site where you have to spend a certain amount of money. And so in between that, they also added a golf management element, which is booking tee times and all the membership management. And so that today is Lightspeed Golf, and it integrates both our solutions, our retail and hospitality solution. And so it is a perfect complex vertical for us to really excel in. And we have, I think, about 1,800 golf courses that are running on it. We just launched some new scheduling tools for the golf vertical. There's a lot of great progress and some new customers that we'll be announcing at earnings that are some of the biggest courses in the world that host some of the biggest opens in the world. So we're very bullish on that vertical.
That's great stuff. So based on your customer profile, you have a good view of Main Street.
Yeah.
And I think Main Street nationally is a great indicator of what's happening for us for the year. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think there's the challenges that folks are having. There's a lot of challenge, I think, around supply chain, right? So diversifying, we're very tuned into this, given that we're on New Order, diversifying your sort of areas of supply and who you're stocking. And of course, that element of newness that you mentioned is super important. I think that a seamless shopping experience, we talked a little bit earlier about mobile checkout. We just enhanced our Sell on Scanner app, which allows you as a person that's working in a retail store to browse and then check out a customer. So everything from browsing to online to social to the in-store checkout, that seamlessness is how you elevate that shopping experience. Because let's face it, retail shopping is one part utility. You're looking for something that you need, but it's also part entertainment and it's part enjoyment, right? And so you want elevated experiences when you're spending your time somewhere. And so that seamless checkout allows you to build loyalty with your customer and delight your customer, right? Like you want to leave that customer with an experience that they want to return for and they want to talk about, and they want to maybe leave you a review. Which also leads to another thing that I think is really important on Main Street, which is loyalty programs that are set up so that there's additional incentives for folks to return to your store. On that vein, we've been tracking a lot of Gen Z trends of what's important with this upcoming generation of shoppers. And it really leans into like VIP and priority kind of experiences. My theory on this is because with this generation, things like festivals and so on are very popular. It's a big part of culture. And people make decisions all the time. Do I want to spend a little bit extra to have the VIP experience at the festival or be in the priority line? And so I think giving those kinds of options in our survey data of our shoppers, the Gen Z segment is willing to pay more for access to exclusive stock ahead of everybody else in a VIP program or priority for a stylist. So that's I think really interesting in terms of something trending. Another aspect of Gen Z is that they're also doing a lot of things for self-care. Back to golf for a second, more than half of Gen Zs are golfing out of self-care. And a lot of them are doing it solo, right? And I think that relates to some of the other verticals too, like what the motivation is, this whole narrative around mental health and self-care. It drives some shopping, it drives some behavior in some of the verticals we're talking about, like golf. So I think that's something to keep in mind when you're designing your shopping experience, when you're designing your retail philosophy, is what are the priorities of the up and coming generations that are spending money with you? And will they pay more for a little bit of a better experience?
You are the first person to ever contextualize loyalty like that in a shopping experience. We are offered priority check-in for airlines.
Yeah.
They are offered priority experiences at festivals. I would pay extra for a chair at a festival with
Yep.
with a 10-foot radius that no one could come near me. I would pay a lot more.
Yeah.
Don't come near
Mhm.
me. I don't want to be near people, but I want to be in the front.
And Christine, sometimes there's moments where you're like, I don't really need that this time. There's times where I'll go to some big event and I'm like, I just want to be in the crowd. But then there's times you're like, I don't want to just be in the crowd. I want to be in the VIP area this time. I'm willing to spend. And I feel like this, every generation makes these decisions, but I think Gen Z has really grown up with these kinds of decisions, and they can make them discreetly based on their priority at the moment or their budget at the moment. And I think the options that a smart retailer will give can be revenue streams because people will pay for it. Imagine just to consider how much people pay for convenience when it comes to food delivery. They'll pay up to $10 extra on a meal for one person. And so I think we got to think about that. Yeah, I think the profit margins on all of your overall inventory is important, but you got to think about the consumer side too, because there's budget, I think, for those moments where people are spoiling themselves, right? There's that mental health concept of I'm going to do something extra for myself. It's an act of self-care, and I'm going to do it with my favorite retailer that offers it.
It's great. It's a great perspective. And what it's not is points which they think is dated and for old people. It's not, oh, also by this, where it's over capitalism first and not really about the person. It's not, here's $10 for a comeback thing. It's not about me selling you more things. It's about we're here together. We're in
Yeah.
this moment together. Here's what we're offering. It's an option for you from us that you can pay for. And that is very appropriate for that cohort for sure. Wow. That's a great place to leave it. It's really got my head spinning on so many conversations in this space and unlocking Gen Z. I feel like you just, when the head there's like a hinge here and my brain just like opened and it's a light coming out.
They're $12 trillion of the economy by 2030. So I think you have to think about how they see the world and how trends are evolving with their preferences. One other thing that we see rapidly trending, and we have a lot of these customers too in a vertical, is secondhand. It's the uniqueness and the originality, and you've got a lot of interest. 70% of the people in our survey are into it, but it's more than 80% with Gen Z are interested in vintage and secondhand. So there is changing tastes at play, and it's like exclusivity, things that nobody else has, experiences that are prioritized for me. It's a very different consumer market, and I think the retailers that succeed are the ones that really optimize for that and align their retail strategy with some of the Gen Z's trends.
Yes, for sure. People are aware of the train that's coming, very aware. It's just they haven't been able to unlock it. We just had a dialogue about Nike's fall off and how's it going to come back? It's going to come back if Gen Z comes back. Drop culture isn't really a thing anymore. And it's not everyone's following high performance elite athletes into brands anymore. Looking at it from that perspective is incredibly insightful. And I thank you so much for that. I really feel like I learned here, and I know the audience will appreciate it as well. Dax, thank you so much.
That was great. Thank you, Christine. Good conversation.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Awesome. And that is what just happened. I'm Christine Russo.